What is up, everybody? Drake Riggs here from MMAmania.com at PFL Media Day San Antonio. PFL San Antonio Media Day 2024 kickoff. Here at our little spot, we will be joined by the fighters momentarily. We'll be chatting with all of them. Going to be a good old time. We got the lineup here in the description of the video. Dakota Ditcheva should be joining us first, and then from there, I should probably have that up. Expected to be Linton Vassell, Blagoy Ivanov, Taila Santos, Juliana Velasquez, Valentin Moldavsky, Kana Watanabe, Denis Goltsov, Liz Carmouche, and Ante Delija in that order. So feel free to drop any questions, comments, concerns throughout the time here. But yeah, we are just hanging out for the time being. Fight week, San Antonio. A little humid outside, a little stormy last night, but nothing too crazy. Had a lot of good fights, flyweights, heavyweights. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with either. So yeah. Until then, I won't be on here constantly like this, but we will be waiting for the fighters, as I said. So just giving you a little introduction, preparation here, you guys. Something to look forward to, and give you some time to get any questions or comments, concerns in, like I said. So feel free to do that as you see fit. All right. With that, I'll go muted for the moment because I'm going to have to get up and kind of hit the camera button every now and then. So that's the fun of live television. Am I right? It's early. Four ounces to freedom here. I assume Katniss is just weighing in to be paid being an alternate with her fight being off the card. Have not heard anything yet, but thank you. Good question. Four ounces to freedom. I will find out when the opportunity presents itself, when the window is there. I will definitely check on that. Yeah, there's a little bit of shuffling, wasn't there? So we'll see. We'll see what that entails. And let me actually do a quick audio check here, you guys. I'm assuming coming through fine, but I didn't quite do a proper check, so let me do that real quick. Sounds fine. But yeah, what is the fight or fights we're most looking forward to, you guys? This room is so big, I feel like I have to be a little bit quiet, but I don't. So and of course, after this, we will still have Sound and Pound. Alex will hop on, and we'll do our show as we regularly do at 12 p.m. Pacific time, roughly 3 hours from now, right? So, yeah. Let me go check on things though, real quick. See what our pacing is looking like. Give you guys an update. Should be here soon. All right, you guys, we are joined by Dakota Ditcheva, the flyweight of the hour, if you will, of the tournament, right? I mean, how has San Antonio treated you? Looks like you've been having fun exploring these past couple days, the scooters and whatnot. How's it been?
I know. I always do something dangerous that I get in trouble for, but I really like it here. I'm gutted that I'm not here for a few days after the fight, so I can kind of eat some nice food and kind of explore a bit more. But it's beautiful here. Yeah.
The tacos, though, that's the plan.
That is the plan.
Just to tease
100%.
you a little
Yeah,
bit.
100%.
So it's kind of funny, though, you mentioned that. Is it kind of like with the format and everything, you can't really spend too much time? Like, have you tried with the past season or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like I'll have a little bit of a rest. I train really hard all year round anyway, so I feel like I'll be able to keep up my fitness even with a week's break, So, yeah, I'll do a little bit of bad eating for a while and then straight back to it.
So has this week felt any different at all compared to over in Europe? I mean, besides the location and everything, but this being like the big international regular season.
It hasn't, there's a lot of familiar faces here from people that I've worked with in PFL before, which has been nice. It's made my week feel a lot more natural. I don't feel like I'm too deep in the water, but yeah, it's obviously with my team here and my brother and my family, everything kind of feels the same.
Of course, and I'm assuming since it's fighting family, they've seen you fight in person before, right?
Yes.
How was that? Like, was it stressful at first? Maybe it's more normal and comfortable with it now, but pressure-wise, anything like that? Is it weird in the beginning, or just tell me about the dynamic?
Yeah, for my family, definitely. I mean, my mum, she's been a fighter before, so she gets it. She kind of knows how to deal with her own nerves, right? My dad, on the other hand, doesn't really like it.
No?
He doesn't get used to it. I think with the competition getting tougher all the time, he knows, it's going to get harder for me. I'm going to be in tougher fights, and he probably struggles with that a little bit. But he still wouldn't, he's coming here to watch, and he wouldn't not be here. Yeah.
Of course, and I hear it a lot where some fighters will struggle maybe more to watch their teammate. They're more nervous for their teammates or their family than themselves. Are you the same kind of like that?
I am, when my older brother used to fight, I think I used to get more nervous for him than I did for myself, for
it's
sure.
Under control, right? That's why.
Definitely, yeah, and it's not like you're going to go out there and get the same adrenaline that you fight with. You have to kind of keep that adrenaline cage side. So I can imagine he feels quite nervous as well.
Yeah, of course, I can totally understand that. And just as for the season, like we talked a little bit already, of course, about the opponents and stuff like that. But for you, Dakota, where would you say is kind of your biggest advantage, I guess, this season specifically?
I just feel like I hate sounding big-headed, but I just feel like I've got that killer instinct that a lot of these girls don't.
Yeah, we see it. We see it in there.
You do see it, yeah. I feel like I'm just going to go out there to kill. I'm not here to just win this tournament by winning it.
Right.
I'm here to make a statement, and make sure that I show that I didn't just win the tournament. I went through these girls. Yeah.
Well, you kind of, in a way, have to be, right, because of how it's formatted with the point system, which is perfect for your style and already going hand in hand with getting the most points and everything, right?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different. It might suit in my favor if I can keep getting these first round stoppages. So I'm not too worried about that, but we'll see.
Biggest motivating factor, what would that be for you?
What motivates me is the fact that I am a sore loser.
Okay.
I hate losing. So that is just not an option for me. I hate losing, but as well, I want to keep going for my family. We started this journey together. They sacrificed a lot. I've sacrificed a lot. So I feel like I've got to keep this going and make a statement and make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Dakota. Well, not going to explain any posts this time.
Okay.
I'm going to surprise you there.
Thank you.
I'll hit you with another fun little would you rather, right?
Okay.
So would you rather never fight again or have to watch a scary movie every single day for the rest of your life?
Oh, do you know what? I'm scared of my own shadow. So this is a tough
I know.
one.
I know, that'd be good for you.
I'd have to go with the scary movie because honestly, if I didn't fight, I'd be a nutcase. Right. That's how I channel my energy. So I've 100% got to be able to fight.
All right, there we go. I expected that would be it, but yeah. All right, Dakota, great to meet you in person.
You too.
Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, you guys were joined by the big swarm, Linton Vassell, man. Great to see you. Great to see you in this tournament of all things, man. And just right away, like, how great is British MMA right now, man? From your perspective, killing it. It's a great time.
I know. I think there's something in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's about time as well. I think we were always just there, but now we've got Aspinall.
Mhm.
Now we've got Leon representing, obviously myself.
Mhm.
You know, I'm the next one to win the belt.
Absolutely, man.
You know, it's about time.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think it is? Why is kind of now the time? I mean, it's just kind of progression, right? But
yeah, and I just think it's been perfect timing.
Yeah.
You know, I think, like I said, we're always there. And well, Bisping, for instance,
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, he's one of the middleweight champions. But yeah, I just think right now is our time. So I think we better capitalize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, things are going good, man. Like I said, and I think the level has probably gone up, especially in England.
Mhm.
I'm training in Florida right now, but I think the level has gone up.
Yeah.
So I think that's helped. More people are coming over to England as well to train. We have more gyms, bigger gyms now. Where when I was there, it was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get the training partners. That's why I did head here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't looked back, to be honest.
Did you ever agree with kind of there was always a thing about saying, oh, England doesn't have the wrestling or the wrestling talent. Is that a fair, is it a myth or is it true?
No, it's true. It's true. I still don't think we have it to the level of the Americans. For me, that was just like my bread and butter. I sort of went to the gym and I was able to pick people up, throw them down, sub them. It was my thing. And then, so I had the jiu-jitsu on point, and then coming to America, Greg Jones. Yes. He obviously stepped me up a little bit more.
Good guy to do so.
Yeah, man. He's like scramble. I like to think I scrambled anyway, but he's turned it up.
Yeah, different level.
He's turned it up. And I beat some of the best, you know, grapplers. I'm supposed to be the underdog in the grappling game.
Right.
And I beat some of the top grapplers in the Bellator roster. So I'm just going to keep doing what I do.
For sure, man. I mean, some of the nastiest ground and pound out there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that's a big element.
And that was one of the things I wanted to check off the list. I want people to know, when we go to the ground,
you're in trouble.
I'm going to smash you up. Yeah, I'm going to smash you up. So yeah, look forward to that happening Thursday night and throughout the tournament.
Exactly, man. And it's crazy, Linton, like a decade in Bellator, man. You know, one of the OGs, at least of the Scott Coker era, right? People kind of separate them a little bit, but for you, I gotta wonder, like, what was your reaction to all this, especially with the time you had with Bellator, and now we're here. It's probably a little weird, right?
So I didn't think, I was told I was on the Bellator series.
Okay.
And until I wasn't.
So excluded from the tournament, you mean?
No, I didn't say excluded from the tournament. They said, so your next fight will be on the Bellator show.
Okay.
You were Bellator. So that's what I expected. And then I got the call to say, you're not fighting Ryan Bader next. This is after the Pereira fight. Because I thought I'm going to be fighting him next. Yeah. I said, you're not fighting him next. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the tournament? I said, yes. Big opportunity, man.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd be stupid and foolish to say, no, I'm not ready for that. You know?
And with heavyweight, easier than light heavyweight days, right?
One with that, but also I want to be active.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing this forever because it's not practical and it's not realistic. So if I know when I'm fighting, I can prepare and save myself for that time rather than just continuous training, not knowing what's going to happen. And then, you're going to fight this time. Okay. You're sort of a bit burnt out.
Yeah.
You've been training all this time. So
without the expectation coming.
Without the expectation of not knowing when you're fighting. So this is perfect.
All right. Awesome, man. Yeah, I know the season format very unique, obviously. So aside from that, though, do you like kind of how it's set up and the structure of things? Yeah. Like, again, nothing else like it.
Yeah. Because I think when they're like, you got 3 months, it's a long time to be thinking of the fight.
Yes.
And then it's sort of like, so I start training, should I not? I don't know.
Overthinking.
Yeah, and they don't want to be sitting out and then coming back to training and then doing. So this is perfect. At least I can fight, take some time off, get some recovery, do what I need to do, have a little trip if I need, a couple of days here, whatever. And then I can come back because I know I'm fit, I know I can fight, and I can just start, just slowly going back into it and just hyping back up what we've been doing.
Right. Of course, man. And first on the list here, Denis Goltsov.
Yes.
I mean, a guy who's been around. It's like two of the veterans of each promotions coming
it
together.
Really is.
So.
I think it's a perfect matchup
Yeah.
for both of us.
So yeah, I mean, exactly. Just thoughts and expectations from him, man.
Oh yeah, no, like I've mentioned a number of times, top guy. I've seen his fights. You know, he brings it. You know, grappling and striking. Very durable. So again, he's the top of his rankings right now. So am I.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for us to fight. You know, to open the card as well. But yeah, I see myself being the more dominant. You know, I'm Big Swarm for a reason.
Yes.
I live up to my name. I just got told I've got 80% finish rate. So I'm gonna show that again.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a fun fact, man. Another fun fact is if you beat him, you'll be the first. He's undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah.
So there's a fun little,
That's cool. Yeah, that's
stat
cool.
for you, man.
Well, I like to make history. I was one of the first guys to finish Liam McGeary.
Yeah.
And I think I had another rank, but I can't remember. But yeah, it's
A lot of them. Too many to count.
yeah, too many to count. I can remember one of them. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to be the underdog and show people. You know,
Is it less pressure that way? Would you say?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So great stretch, obviously, Linton, and you talking about making history right there. I'm curious, not telling you you should retire or anything. 40 looking great still, but winning the title, capping things off. There's a pretty good spot.
Yes,
like, have you thought about that?
Yes, 100%. Like, I'm definitely one of the oldest in the tournament. So to be able to go in there and do what I do, finish people, win the tournament, that's a big feather in the cap. And that's to show people the age is just a number.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think, oh, you're this age. Are you gonna? Well, my fights prove it. It's not like I'm going the distance with people and scraping a win.
Just barely.
Yeah, not scraping wins. I'm finishing people. First round, second round. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That speaks for himself. The fights do. So, as for the tournament, though, the rest of everybody, like, I'm sure you obviously scouted people a little bit just in preparation. You have to, right? But toughest guys out of the bunch, aside from yourself, of course, and maybe Denis is the guy. Would you say there's somebody you're most looking out for overall?
No, to be honest, no. Obviously, my friend Steve's in there.
Yeah,
that's.
Would that be tough? Tricky?
Of course. I don't want to be fighting my friend.
Right.
It's not just a friend; it's a real good friend.
Yeah.
So that will be tough, but again, we're not there right now. It may never happen. Anything can happen. But to be honest, I'm ready for them all. Yeah, I'm ready for them all. There's not one guy that I've been like, oh damn.
Yeah.
That's no disrespect. Just the way my mentality is.
And I mean, you have the experience anyways, right? Seeing it all. So I'm curious though, you mentioned the Steve kind of aspect there. Have you had a situation with like a good friend fighting before and it was kind of a challenge?
Well, funny enough, I fought Liam, one of my friends, Tyrell Fortune, is what it is, isn't it? I guess it's the business we're in. It was funny that when I fought Liam, we were talking like this.
Yeah.
And Bellator like, no, why are you talking?
Don't do this.
Yeah, no, you're fighting. And same as Tyrell. A couple of days before the fight, we'll just hang out and it's okay, we're fighting. It's business at the end of the day. I don't hate you.
Right.
So
you want to do a job.
It is what it is. But yeah, and Emmanuel Newton, funny enough. I fought him twice.
Hardcore kid.
And one of my friends as well. So
nothing new.
I guess I've got to be friends with everybody. I've got to stop being friends with people.
Right.
I guess.
Friends are good, man. But all right, Linton.
Beat them up.
Yeah. Last thing I'll leave you with, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Of course.
I'm curious, like you mentioned Forever there, Bader. What'd you make of that one? Were you surprised by the outcome? I mean, interesting. Quick stuff.
I didn't think Pereira would finish him that quick. I thought Bader would probably take him down.
Yeah.
Maybe drag out a couple of rounds or something. Maybe even beat him from ground and pound. But yeah, I didn't see it ending that quick. Yeah. So I guess Pereira was on form that night.
Does that change the thoughts about Ngannou potential matchup? Like how you'd see that going?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. Because Ngannou obviously is a striker. Pereira's a striker. And he's tall, he's long.
Yes.
I don't think Nagano's fought someone like that.
Yeah, not that I could think of.
And I know Game was tall, but I don't know if it has long. But then also, Ferreira's not fought someone like Nagano,
right,
who hits like a bus.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Someone's getting knocked out, I think.
Yeah, no, that seems very
out.
safe to us.
Again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a first round, second round, but I think it won't go no 5 rounds.
Yeah, fair.
Because there's going to be no grappling.
Right, no, not a chance. I don't think that.
No grappling. I know one's going for a double leg.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, yeah, we look forward to that one. But we look forward to your fights as well, Linton.
Yes.
So thanks for taking the time, man.
Perfect.
Best of luck with the season.
One. Thank you. That was nice.
All right, guys, we are joined now by Blagoy Ivanov. Man, just how are you doing? How is it being in San Antonio, back in the PFL, all that stuff?
I feel great. Here is beautiful. The river is beautiful. Yeah, I'm ready to fight.
Of course. First time in the city?
Yeah, first time in San Antonio. I've been to Dallas before.
Yeah, just Texas in general.
Yeah.
So, man, it is crazy, right? Like, defended your PFL heavyweight title back in the day. First guy to do so. Also had your Bellator experience. Went to the UFC. Now you're back. Like, crazy journey. I mean, a lot of emotions, I'm sure.
Forth, yeah.
What's it been like?
A lot of experience. Like, it's go like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, how quickly did this come together too? Like,
I know like a couple of weeks before the fight, and I was getting ready to fight actually in April, so I was in some kind of shape. So I'm good right now.
No, worked out. And the short notice is that kind of nice sometimes when you have less time to think and just jump into it.
Sometimes nice, like less pressure, you know. But we'll see Thursday.
Of course, man. Of course. And like I said, they're coming back to the PFL from the UFC, man. It sucks to leave, but great to get the experience, right? So, like, I'm curious, how do you reflect on the time over there? With the UFC.
With the UFC, yeah. I fought with the like top 15 guys all the time, so make me like good experience. Everybody's stuff, and I've been to great fights, and it's very good experience.
Of course, man. And got Sergey here this weekend, though. I mean, kind of a guy still coming up, right? A little under the radar. I mean, were you familiar with him? Do you have any time to research him?
I know him a little bit. He's younger than me, so we'll see.
What are you kind of expecting from him in this one? You think it'll be kind of, I mean, you've seen it all, man, like the crazy fights and everything, but you think it'll be more grappling, more striking? What do you think?
No, I think he's more striking, and I think he moves a lot. He'll try to move a lot to different angles.
And it's kind of impressive, Blagoy, like, never been knocked out in your career, man. Like at heavyweight, that's very impressive, you know, with all the fights you've had too. But is there a secret, man, or is it just a natural toughness? How does this happen?
I just want to thank God. I've never been down here. I think it's genetic.
Yeah, something to be proud of, though, right? I mean, not get the knockout.
Thanks, God.
And I'm curious, man, again, because you have fought so many great guys, like, Is there a guy who stood out as your toughest opponent, and one that you look back and you're like, man, that guy he did hit pretty hard, but
Yeah, like I think like my first fight with Junior was like,
Mm.
very tough fight. Yeah, with Junior Dos Santos. Yeah,
What do you think about him doing bare knuckle? Is that kind of crazy?
yeah, he's doing good
He's the
right
champ
now.
now.
He's the champ. Yeah, he's doing good. Yeah, I wish him the best.
Would you ever try something like that? Too much for a little extreme?
Yeah, but not right now.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy with the PFL stuff, man. But
Yeah.
okay, Blagoy. Well, before I let you go, I gotta wonder, like, I love asking fighters, if they never got into MMA, what do you think you'd be doing instead? Like, is there something that comes to mind for you?
To say again, please.
If you never got into MMA, what do you think you'd be doing
No,
instead
I
as
don't
a
know,
career?
man. I'm being like I compete with my wife, so it's like come natural. I just start fought like 18. I
Mhm.
was 18, like my first professional fight. So it's this is the what want to do in like make me like professional fighter, makes money with this. It's like it's good profession.
Yeah, it's been
For
working
me.
out. It's been working out, man.
Yeah.
So wish you the best of luck with it, man. Cannot wait to see the fight and just whatever the future holds for you,
Yeah,
man. So
thanks,
thank you.
appreciate.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now we are joined by the former Bellator flyweight champ, the one and only Juliana Velasquez. I mean, just how has the week been so far? How's San Antonio treating you?
A semana tá indo maravilhosa. A perda de peso acho que foi uma das mais fáceis que eu já tive. Foi leve, tranquila. Tá indo da melhor forma possível.
It's been a great fight week. This has been one of the smoothest weight cuts for me so far, so it'll be better overall.
Awesome. Happy to hear it. And obviously, new scenery, PFL, after the Bellator combination. I mean, as someone who was a former champion of Bellator and the experience you've had, I'm curious, what was your reaction to all this big news that happened late last year?
Como, enfim, uma das pessoas aí que já segurou o cinturão do Bellator, qual foi a sua reação para a aquisição do PFL de comprar o Bellator no fim do ano passado?
Acho que foi bom, acho que foi um desafio, é um desafio novo para todo atleta, essa junção, enfim, eu acho que tudo que vem é para somar. PFL é um nome muito grande, né? Faz esse sistema do GP. Eu já estava de olho nesse esquema de GP, que é muito interessante, né? Um desafio novo, e estou feliz, de casa nova, estou muito feliz.
I think it's great. I mean, I've personally been eyeing the tournament style for a while, so this is something that definitely caught my attention that I was eager to be a part of for this year.
Of course, and it's really exciting to have you a part of it, of course. And it's kind of interesting, starting out with the trilogy fight with Liz Carmouche and, someone you're familiar with, fought their last two fights. Like, I got to imagine the motivation level is very high for you right now, Juliana, not just with the new formats, the grand prize, all these things, but plus the fact you get a chance to redeem your losses to Liz right away. Like, what exactly would you say your motivation level is like right now? How high up are we?
Como é que está o seu nível assim, de motivação? Né? Acho que tem tanta coisa acontecendo, né? É cinturão, é $1 milhão, é casa nova, é a trilogia contra a Liz. Assim, como é que isso tudo se encaixa na sua cabeça?
Caramba. Acho que da melhor forma possível. Eu tô feliz, sou mãe, minha filha tem 3 meses, estou feliz da vida. Essa trilogia, de certa forma, eu enxergo de uma forma positiva, porque se me colocaram ali com ela, é porque eu também sou uma grande atleta, sem desmerecer, o GP está formado de grandes atletas, são nomes pesadíssimos, então eu fiquei até lisonjeada de estar ali, mas não encaro como revanche, nem como nada, encaro como um novo desafio, uma nova casa, novas oportunidades. Como você falou, GP é uma coisa interessante e temos a premiação final aí, né? Mas o mais importante para mim agora é voltar ser campeão mundial. Para mim isso é muito importante.
I think the biggest motivation right now is my 3-month-old daughter. So this is really the driving force in everything I do. I'm honored to be a part of this tournament. I think it's a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of big names here between the other 9. So honored to have made the cut, honored to be here, excited about the new format, excited about this trilogy fight. I do, however, see this as just a singular event. I don't look back at the previous 2 and try to make amends with those 2 being considered. Right now, I'm just focused in becoming a world champion again.
Absolutely. And congratulations on the newborn, by the way. I mean, how has that changed things? That's a pretty big deal. Like, have you had to juggle things with training and all? Like, tell me about the things that you've had to adjust, I guess, with that now.
Parabéns aí pela filha. Quero saber como é que isso muda as coisas, né? Tem muito ajuste aí nos horários de treino, na preparação, no que você vinha fazendo e vem fazendo agora?
No começo sim, acho que tem que dar assistência lá de casa, mas quando eu marco luta, meu trabalho eu tento colocar como prioridade, aí eu dou tentando dar assistência. Eu moro no andar de cima, meus pais moram no andar de baixo, e eles me dão toda a assistência que eu preciso para eu continuar treinando. Minha esposa também segura o rojão lá em casa, até eu sou muito mal-humorada, né, quando tô com luta marcada por causa da dieta, eu fico meio maluca. Então, eu tenho tudo no esquema. Então, por isso que deu tudo certo, consegui descansar bem, consegui fazer um bom treinamento sem afetar em nada, como sempre foi. Então, não vejo que tenha uma grande mudança, não. Só no entusiasmo mesmo, que aumentou bastante.
Well, it's interesting because this is the first time, obviously, with my daughter, but we have it all very well dialed in. I live on the second floor of the house. My parents live in the first one. They've been providing me, along with my wife, all the needed support so I can focus on the task at hand, the fight. Ever since we booked the fight, this was something that became understood, and there was a mutual understanding between the family that what tweaks had to be made, how we could approach this the best way possible. I tend to get a little crazy and a little on the cranky side based on the diet and training camp, but everyone leaned in and helped make this the best possible experience. So I think the only main change is the driving factor, which is my daughter now, and that just gave me a breath of fresh air, so to say.
All right, that's really awesome to hear. Sounds like you got it definitely all figured out real quick and easily. So that's great. And I'm curious, Juliana. Like, I know you said you're looking at this one as a single fight and not necessarily a trilogy. You're kind of thinking about the past with Liz, but still, in terms of preparing for her, like, you do have the experience, right? I'm sure you're taking things you did learn from those first two fights. So I guess how has preparation specifically changed for fighting the same person 3 times? Like, does it change? Like, just tell me, I guess, about having to go into that with the matchup.
Preparação muda ou mudou pouco para lutar contra a mesma pessoa pela terceira vez?
Muda sempre um pouco, né? Porque já fiz 2 lutas com ela, então ela já sabe o meu ponto forte, eu já sei o ponto forte dela. Então, na verdade, depois da última luta, eu vi o que eu tinha que melhorar e corri atrás, né? Treinei mais de 1 ano no que eu tinha que melhorar e tô focado. Eu acho que todo dia é uma evolução, acho que a gente tem sempre coisa para melhorar e todo dia eu tô em busca disso. Então, acho que eu tô com um jogo novo. Tô com um jogo novo não, acho que eu tô para essa luta pensando no meu jogo, né, fazer o que eu tenho que fazer. E eu me garanto tanto no meu jogo que eu só fico pensando nele agora. O jogo dela eu deixo para ela.
I feel like she knows some of my strong suits. I know some of hers, so I don't think there's much changing or kind of just like too much thinking aside from assessing what are my capabilities and what can I do instead of what is she planning on doing. I trust my game plan. I trust my strong suits so much that I feel like as long as I get the job done on my side, which is ultimately what I'm able to control, it will all go down as planned.
And, for her last fight, she got a win over Lima McFarland, who, you won the title from when you did fight her. Were you impressed by her performance? What did you make of her last win?
O que você achou da última luta da Liz Carmouche aí contra a Lima, que, enfim, foi a pessoa que te passou o cinturão?
Foi uma grande luta, né, foi uma luta bem estudada, as 2 adversárias já se conheciam bastante, já treinaram juntas, então já sabia que ia ser uma luta bem cadenciada. A Liz Carmouche foi para manter a distância mesmo ali, e fez todo o plano que tinha que ser feito. Mas nada me surpreendeu.
I mean, it was a very well-studied fight. I feel like those two have trained together in the past, so it's they knew each other well, and that's something that showed on the fight. It's well strategized. I wouldn't say anything really, stuck out to me or surprised me.
And I'm curious, Juliana, like, aside from yourself and Liz, because I think you guys are definitely around the top in terms of all the fighters in the tournament here, is there somebody you kind of looking out for, not looking past Liz, but in terms of everybody you could fight? somebody that you think is maybe the most dangerous possible opponent out of everybody?
Sei que você não está olhando, né, à frente, assim, não está desrespeitando a lista, está focando 100% nessa luta. Mas existe alguma outra das 8 competidoras aqui que você está de olho, vê como uma outra, enfim, possível contender aí, uma pessoa que está vindo para chegar forte e vai para as cabeças também?
Eu acho que as 8 são muito fortes, né? Eu não conheço as demais, nunca lutei com nenhuma delas, só com a Liz Carmouche, de todas elas, mas acho que vem com um grande nome forte aí, a Taila Santos, né, e a Dakota. Acho que esses são os nomes mais fortes que, tirando eu e o Carmouche ali, tá vindo, mas sem tirar o mérito de nenhuma das outras, né, porque o que pesa nesse GP hoje, acho que é mais a cabeça, a mentalidade forte, sabe? Acho que isso sim, acho que vai fazer um grande diferencial, e não o nome.
I feel like it's interesting because the only person I've actually fought before in the past year is Liz. So I haven't tested myself against any of the other 8, but I feel like they're all great competitors. If I had to, pinpoint 2 others that I feel like will make it far, it would be Taila Santos and Dakota Ditcheva. But it's all a matter of how they show up, and that goes for the other 6 names as well. So. You got to be mentally well prepared. You got to be physically well prepared with a sharp game plan, and everything in order for these 4 fights to go your way.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so fun. But all right, last thing I'll leave you with here, Juliana. I just got to know. Always curious, asking fighters this, but if you never got into fighting as your career and passion, and everything, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Uma pergunta aqui: se você não fosse uma lutadora, o que você acha que você estaria fazendo?
It's always a tough one.
Para falar a verdade, eu sempre gostei muito de estudar. E eu gosto muito de corpo humano. Eu queria muito fazer medicina. Infelizmente eu não pude fazer porque eu tive que me dedicar ou ao esporte ou à medicina. Lá no Brasil a medicina é integral. Eu não ia conseguir conciliar, né, o judô na época com a faculdade de medicina. Então, eu sou formado em educação física e eu acho que se eu não tivesse nascido já como atleta, porque eu acho que eu falo que eu já nasci atleta. Desde miúda eu realmente faço alguma coisa. Meu pai é professor de educação física, meu pai dava aula, e todos os momentos desde bebê, eu acho que eu nem sei como é que eu aprendi a nadar, foi sozinho. Então, eu acho que eu teria me dedicado na parte de medicina, que eu gosto bastante.
Well, aside from fighting, I've always loved studying, and more than just studying, I've always loved, I've always been fascinated by the human body. So I feel like if going to med school wasn't, such a burden, and I say that in all senses, I would have probably, thought about that. But it's not something that you can do on the side of being a judo practitioner, right? You can't just focus on those 2 things. So I have a degree in PE, physical education. It's something that it holds a very dear place in my heart. My father has the same degree, and I've always just, I don't know how I ended up in it, but I've always just been fascinated by how far the human body can go, and that's both from a medical standpoint, but also an endurance side of things too. So.
All right. Well, I mean, the fighting things worked out pretty good, so no worries there. But wish you the best of luck with the fight this weekend, Juliana, the tournament, everything. Great getting to chat with you. Thanks so much for the time. Obrigado.
Obrigada.
Obrigado. Oh, good. All right, you guys, joined by the man of the hour, Denis Goltsov. I mean, undefeated in the regular season. Are you aware of this stat, man? Pretty impressive stuff right there. Give you some confidence.
Ты знаешь, что ты непобежденный, как бы не в undefeated in which?
The regular season.
Ну, просто в сезоне, в обыкновенном сезоне ты ни разу не проиграл. Это твоя статистика. Что ты про это думаешь?
Ну, я считаю, что это не показатель, стечение обстоятельств больше, наверное. Поэтому будем стараться это продолжать дальше, чтобы так и было.
You know, overall, I don't think it's like a crazy stats. It's just, you know, it just happened to be leading up towards the title. So, having said that, I'm going to try to maintain the same goal and maintain the same drive towards the, like in this year for the championships.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, you're no stranger to the PFL and the format these days, and you know, coming out of the off season. Just curious, like, do you do anything special during the off season, or kind of keep it chill? Just what does it look like for you between, you know, the seasons?
Between seasons.
Yeah.
То есть ты не новичок к этому формату, ты уже знаешь, как здесь все работает, ты уже здесь был, так, ну, как конференц, знаешь, как все работает. И в свое время, когда вот есть чуть-чуть отдохнуть, что ты делаешь, как ты проводишь время?
Ну, конечно же, больше работаешь над силой, потому что тренировки больше такие в межсезонье, которые проводятся. Очень много, на самом деле, работы, которые проводить надо в межсезонье, и зачастую этого времени не хватает, потому как в этом году сезон начался раньше, и у меня, по большому счету, было только 3 месяца между боями.
You know, when it comes with the time off, you have to, there's not that much time off. So you still, when you have time off, I still work on my strengths. You always have to do a bunch of stuff. You know, you can't just waste the time because like the season starts nice and early. So you always have to work and you have to progress and move forward.
Of course, man. And this was a unique offseason, though, with the addition of Bellator coming into the PFL now. And I'm curious, like, what was your reaction when you heard that news? Is it exciting for you to have all these new possible opponents now and opportunities with, you know, the Bellator roster coming in?
Да, в этом году, как бы, знаешь, очень такое интересное такое событие, то, что Bellator и новые подписчики, организация становится больше, и бои становятся круче, и как ты, что ты про это думаешь, как ты сможешь?
Ну, конечно, уровень организации вырос значительно с приходом, собственно, топовых бойцов, которые также выступали в Bellator, и ребята бились за пояс, и чемпионы, поэтому, безусловно, это очень серьезная заявка на первое место в мире по организации и, я бы сказал, даже по проведению гран-при, которые проводились в истории.
Of course, I think that this year is very interesting because there's so many high-level fighters coming in from different organizations and the new signings. I truly think with a mix of Grand Prix and the format, how it works, we're going to see some of the best fighters on the planet, and we're going to see the new level emerge from this whole concept. And I think that these are some of the toughest and going to be some of the best fighters on the planet because of the format and how they get cooked in this format. And real champions going to emerge from this. You know, it's a very hard format. So we're going to see real, in my opinion, some of the best fighters on the planet.
Yeah, and it's very exciting to watch, man. And one of your matchups is one of these that provides the best fighters on the planet, right? You know, taking on Linton Vassell, one of the guys coming over, you know, big guy, very experienced guy. I'm sure you've been familiar with him. Just what is your excitement level for this matchup and your thoughts on him? Again, I'm sure you've been familiar with him.
Да, действительно, ну, столько новых соперников, столько новых ребят подписались, эта организация растет, становится больше и больше, и один из них, естественно, ты очень высокий спортсмен, поэтому ты здесь, поэтому ты дерешься на таком уровне. Ну вот, подписали этого Васил, соперника, что ты про него думаешь, как соперник, как боец?
Ну, безусловно, человек с большим опытом, он старше меня, больше боев в целом у него, ну, да что говорить-то, человек бился за титул в Bellator, это уже о многом говорит. Я могу сказать, что он достаточно серьезный претендент на звание чемпиона в этом сезоне.
You know, of course, I think that first of all, he's older than me. He has more fights than me. He's extremely experienced fighter, and he's a very tough fighter. And I think that he definitely is at the level where he could be pretending and going for the championships this year even. So this is a very high level fight and a very, very important fight.
And I'm curious, man, who would you say has the biggest target on their back this season out of all the heavyweights?
Как думаешь, у кого самая большая мишень на их спине в этом сезоне в тяжелом весе? Кого все хотят, думают, что это вот таргет?
Ну, я думаю, что, конечно же, это Анте Дели, так как он дважды становился чемпионом, и он, можно сказать, такой определенный фаворит по заслугам, по достижениям, поэтому я думаю, что многие на него ориентируются.
I think that Ante Delija is one of those fighters that he was a champion a few times, right? So a lot of people know he's very tough. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on him, seeing how he does and how he progresses, because he was already champion multiple times. So I think he's one of those guys that people, all the fighters, kind of look at him as a target.
Yeah, very fair choice there, man. And, he's got a very tough matchup in the main event against Valentin Moldavsky. Also coming out from Bellator, man. Like, what do you make of that one? You think he'll be able to get it done? It's a pretty interesting fight in the main event.
Да, ты прав насчет Анте, он действительно очень крутой соперник, но в то же время у него очень трудный соперник будет в этом бою. Что ты думаешь вообще про этот бой, как он сложится и интересный ли этот бой?
Ну, конечно, безусловно, он не просто так попал в основной карт, и финальный бой в карде будет их. Поэтому, конечно же, будет очень интересно посмотреть, кто сможет навязать свое. У Валентина сильные удары, сильная борьба, поэтому вопрос будет, насколько сможет он реализовать это в клетке. Конечно, я хочу сказать, что в целом вся сетка этого сезона, она очень конкурентна, и простых людей там, которые случайно туда попали, уже нету.
Of course, this is a super high-level fight. Ante Delija and Valentin, they're both very skilled fighters, and however, they're fighting in a main event for the reason, because not just Ante Delija, but the other guy is also extremely experienced. He has great heavy strikes. He's a great wrestler. So that's why they're in a main event So it's going to be a very interesting fight, and we're going to see some exciting fight.
Yeah, going to be a fun season, man. And speaking of interesting fights, I got to get your thoughts on the heavyweight fight we saw recently between the champs, Hannah Ferreira and Ryan Bader. Did that one surprise you, man? I mean, it was very quick. We didn't get to see much of a fight, but what was your reaction to that? Were you caught off guard by it? Like, I think a lot of us were.
Говорит насчет, топик идет насчет интересных боев. Вот был очень интересный бой, то, что за Bellator против PFL Ferraro и Bader. Был очень интересный бой на высоком уровне. Какое твое мнение вообще про этот бой? Что ты про это думаешь?
Ну, я думаю, что результат был во многом предсказуем, так как разница колоссальная в росте. И, конечно же, Бейтер все-таки из другой категории пришел в тяжи, и ему было это, в принципе, гораздо сложнее это все. Поэтому думаю, что шансов у него было немного. И у него были шансы, конечно, но он не смог просто их реализовать, не успел их реализовать, поэтому, конечно, что тут ничего не скажешь, это тяжелый вес.
Of course, overall, it's a very exciting matchup. It was a really, really great fight. However, seeing their size difference, reach difference, it was kind of predictable to see who's gonna win. Having said that, it's still a tough fight. And Bader just didn't have enough to progress and to go forward. He fought a very, very, very skilled and tough opponent. He was not his day.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the heavyweight division, man. So looking forward to this season. Looking forward to your fight this weekend, and I wish you the best of luck. And just thanks for taking the time, man. Appreciate you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now the champ is here. Liz Carmouche, the Bellator flyweight champ. I don't need to introduce her to you, but it would be rude of me to not do so. Liz, just how is it? San Antonio, we talked a couple weeks ago, but anything crazy happened since then, or just smooth sailing into a fight week?
No, pretty smooth sailing. Yeah, got in San Antonio. Didn't realize that the Riverwalk was spitting distance from us.
No, I had no idea.
When they
either.
said like, "Oh, go for a walk out to the river, go check it out," I thought like I'd be driving out to the river,
right.
not just like I stumbled upon it, take my dog for a walk. So it's probably the only nice surprise, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see that coming either, but gotta check it out a little bit more. You did seem a little bit disappointed by the lack of a bikini car wash photo shoot, I will say.
I think my wife was definitely disappointed.
Yeah, right. That would have been something.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you need is a gorilla with lipstick on.
Yes. Hey, I mean, it'd be something new. So today, Liz, I mean, since we just caught up recently, I want to try and talk as little about MMA as possible and distract yourself a little bit, at least from the in-cage stuff. But this is a question I thought was interesting recently, and I know I asked Dakota and a couple other people, but it fascinates me to ask a fighter like, especially someone of your experience, what would you say is like the most overrated thing about MMA? And this is just in a general sense, but
In a good way or a bad way?
just however you interpret it, what you would say.
I think probably the most overrated thing is the fame that comes with it.
Okay.
I think that so often people are in chase of the fame because they think that it gets them good paydays. They think that it gets them sponsorships. It gives them free things.
Yeah.
People notice them. For one, I didn't get into the sport for that. That's not what I wanted at all. So there's that. But then two, people overlook how much sacrifice we have to do and that the fame is a part of it, but you can have fame and not get any of those other things, right? Like I know people that are less famous than I am in terms of just MMA accomplishments, and they have endorsement deals and they have millions of followers, and I have like 20,000 followers, you know, like, but people want to get into the sport for those reasons, but there's so much sacrifice that goes into it. The fight medical is you're an independent contractor. You have to pay your coaches. You have to pay your manager, you know,
stuff people don't think about.
People don't think about, and they're like, they get into it like, well, I had no idea. Like I was just I know what you're trying to do. Like, yeah, we're not talking about it, but it's not cheap. Like, how often have I fought where I paid to fight, not got paid to fight?
How many times would you say?
Far too often.
We're past those days, though, thankfully. Do people still mention the Uriah Faber twinning at all?
Actually, I don't even think that somebody realized it, but he said, he's like, hey, do you still train over at Uriah's gym? I'm like, what? Yeah, you and Uriah, you're really close, right? Like,
oh, man.
And he was serious. And I'm like, I've never trained at Uriah's gym. He's like nothing against, I've just never trained there. Like I live in San Diego, he's in Sacramento. It's like, I could have sworn, I'm like, I know where you're getting the mix up and the mistake, and it's not. No, we've never trained together.
That's hilarious. Wow. How recent was that? Did you say this?
That happened in the workout room.
Oh, okay. This was just
2 days ago. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Okay. Shift gears a little bit. I think that there is an answer to this question, but does misogyny exist in MMA?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to say that it doesn't, and we've certainly made so much progression past it, but it is still a male dominant sport. And there's still so many people where I've gone into doctors' offices to do my fight medicals, and they're like, why am I filling out this form? I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, because I have to do this, like, can you actually make money? Do women actually fight?
Really?
I'm like, why are we still doing this? And
is.
just they're so rude, and they sign it and they like toss the paperwork at you. So it definitely still exists.
Wow.
Or guys that come up to you like, do you really think that you could beat me and you're so tough? I'm like, I'm just standing here. I didn't say anything to you. And
I'm existing.
What?
Yeah. And that was kind of me springboarding off the car wash thing a little bit, just because, you know, it's funny where the mind went. But like ring girls, for example, you know, I mean, like people to have jobs, but how do you feel about it in this day and age?
Yeah, I think that when I'm there, I don't even notice that they're right. It's just like I'm just part of the process, and that they're just essentially the background.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's definitely different. I know that there was an event in San Diego that they threw where they had, because it was a mostly women's MMA event, the guy was trying to think different. So his ring people were men.
Yes, I do like that idea.
Right?
You know,
So
balance it out.
just balance it out. You see the guys are like, why is this going on? I think, and then the same people, same group, that organization, their next event, they did men and women. And I'm like, well, that's fair. That's a good balance,
Right.
you know, and then you're not, but I also understand if you look at the fan base for MMA,
Mhm.
it's predominantly still men between the ages of 18 and 38 or
Right.
36 or
Yeah.
something. So you still have to appeal to the market. I do get it.
Did you hear Sean Strickland's comments around UFC 297?
No.
Okay, so kind of this thought, about the women not being at this level and nobody wants to watch them fight. Kind of that fan embodied into a fighter, and it was just kind of interesting. That was the same fight card as Bueno Silva and Raquel Pennington, and
Mhm.
He's very against that as well. Just, I guess, what do you think? There's any way that kind of mentality will ever escape a thing like fighting? It's hard to imagine.
I think to some degree, we have to say it's like a shift in society, how roles, how people see people. And there has been progression, but to some degree, no, because fighting is a raw instinct for who we are. Everybody has that flight or fight response. And so I think with that, because like you'll see people having never trained, like, yeah, I could beat them.
Right.
I don't look at people in the NFL going, yeah, I could take him down. I could definitely throw. I look at them like, holy crap, these people are
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
And then you stand next to them, you're not. And you'll see like a little 18-year-old kid that's never fought a day in his life that like trips over his own feet and he's like, I could fight you.
Okay.
Okay,
Think
buddy.
what you want.
Right. But it's just a part of ego, being young, being ego. I think it's just a lack of education into MMA and seeing the skill set that women display. And then just societal shifts in the norms of what we expect from women.
I think too, kind of in terms of comparing sports, and I've talked to some other fighters about it too, but like with fighting, it's theoretically something everyone can just do. You can just go like right now, we could just start fighting if we wanted to. It wouldn't be a good idea on my part, but in terms of basketball or team sports or football, you can't just go and do it. And people have more often than not, boys or whatever growing up played them and have that experience like, all right, I'm not the best.
Yeah.
They kind of get that rather than having their ass beat by somebody at some point. You think that's kind of a fair way to look at it too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely the most accessible sport. Right? We make our MMA artists on social media way more accessible than most other sports. There's that. And then, yeah, it's just an instinct that we all have. If you come into a really bad situation, you assess it and you go, crap, should I run out of here? Or do I need to gear up and get ready to fight? Right? That's just an instinct of who we are. So I think by the nature of being human, everybody thinks they can fight.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Which does make sense, but maybe not the smartest times. What is a cause that Liz Carmouche is most passionate about?
I think working with autistic children and then my wife and I are doing a nonprofit and we're trying to breed puppies for service dog work with injured veterans. And we'd like to, if we can get this large enough, to also help autistic children.
Okay.
Because we've seen from our last litter, every single puppy from our last litter went to service dog work. We only trained one of them to be a service dog, but every family that they went to is helping a child with epilepsy, helping a child with autism, went to a fire station to help firefighters when they're coming back from bad scenes, went to a hospital, like all of them went somewhere. So that's something that we're both passionate about, is trying to help people and find healthy dogs that want to work to do that.
I'm not surprised there's the animal inclusion from from the zoo you got going on there, but that's awesome. That is a great cause for sure. And any big fears, Liz? Is there like, everybody kind of, some spiders, like something like that, but I don't know. Do you have any things that get you?
I mean, yeah, I hate spiders. I wouldn't say that I'm scared of them,
Right.
but like rightfully so. I grew up in Okinawa, Japan, and
Like
they're like
heights
spiders
or
that would
things
like
like that.
chase you.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
like attack you. And there's venomous, poisonous spiders. Same thing with snakes, but like unrealistic fears.
Yeah. Irrational fear.
Yeah, completely irrational fears. No, I don't think I have any really irrational ones. I mean, besides the idea that could happen, just the economy could flip all of a sudden, and then there's no longer desire for MMA, so I no longer have a job.
Okay.
But that's a real fear.
Yeah, that's
that's
fair,
a rational fear.
Do you get like scared easily from like jumps or things like that if you're watching?
No,
a
I like
movie?
to skydive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that about.
But I don't
seals-
like to tandem skydive. I love individual skydiving.
Oh, really?
But being attached to somebody and them like being in control.
So
of
you
it,
have to
I
do
don't
that
like
at first, though, right? Like when you start out. 'Cause
No,
I've
you can
never
do
done
a
it.
course. So I went with a friend and we initially went tandem.
Okay.
And like we jump out of there, I'm like, yeah, I don't like this.
Kind of
Like, did
constricted
you not
feeling, or-
like just having somebody? My friend got stuck with someone who was just having a bad day at work. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Threw his helmet off, and my friend's like, oh, and he's like, let's just go. Screw this. He's like, no.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to say right,
Right?
there.
And so I'm seeing that. I'm like, yeah, he's in control of him. He had no. He may not have wanted to, but he had no say.
Mm,
And then just the idea that like if the landing was poor by him, not even by me,
Yeah.
if the person I was with made a mistake, I'm not in control of the mistake that happens. He is.
okay.
And so just not liking that. Once I went skydiving on my own, I'm like, yeah, if I make a mistake, it's just 100% on me. And I did make a mistake.
Right.
I was having fun doing turns and I overshot from the roadway
no.
and landed in a tree. So I definitely made a big mistake. But I'm like, yeah, that was my fault. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. You know.
How'd you get down? Just kind of climb, or
Yeah, like shimmy down. It was a very small tree, thankfully. And I was at the end of it. So I was able to like pull my chute and drop to
oh
my feet.
man, that's amazing. I get that though. That is yeah, lack of control kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. Okay, last thing for you, Liz. Any big pet peeves or things like that that annoy you?
Oh, I have so many pet peeves.
Biggest
I'm like a super quirky individual. I have so many pet peeves. Germs is a big one.
Okay.
And everyone's like, well, how do you get into MMA? I'm
Right.
Like, that's because I shower after every single I'm
Stay
the only
clean.
I'm the only person in my gym that like has 7 pairs of clothing, and I change after every single practice, wipe down after every single practice. Like, I don't wear shoes in my house. I don't believe in shoes near the bed. Like, that's disgusting to me. Like, even in my hotel room, it's like shoes off to the door.
Yep. Same.
And like, I'd like to have 2 beds so I can have like one that's a dirty bed, one's a clean bed. So if I want to sit in the
Okay.
room,
A little OCD.
a little bit.
I am
so,
too. It's okay.
So that's probably the biggest pet peeve is just germ stuff.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That is kind of funny though for the lifestyle, indeed.
Yeah.
But all right, Liz. Well, best of luck as always. Cannot wait for this weekend and just the whole season. You know, really excited, and see if I keep following you around.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right, I'm joined by the man in the main event, Ante Delija, former champ. Just how you doing, man? How has the week been so far?
Super se osjećam, evo došli smo 7 dana prije, navikli smo se na vrijeme i super, spremni za borbu.
I feel great. We came in 7 days earlier, so we got used to the weather and everything. So I feel great.
All right, cool, man. And you know, you've been here, done that with the PFL, fought all these guys. Do you still get nervous at all, man, or is it just business as usual now?
S obzirom da ste o PFL se već bore, da li imaš malo tremu ili ti je posao koji inače?
Pa ovo mi je sad 30. meč, jednostavno naučio sam ovo, znam sve što me čeka, tako da mislim da sam dovoljno iskusan da nema nervoze. A ima pozitivna trema, naravno.
This is my 30th pro fight, so I'm not nervous at all. Maybe some, let's say, let's put it this way. I'm a little positive. I'm a little bit positive, nervous before the fight. Of course.
Right. Of course, man. And how'd you spend the off season? Do you do anything special between, or is it like just training, regular life, or how does it look for you?
Šta se radi kao off season? Da se samo trenirao ili šta se radi?
Ja sam profesionalac, isključivo moj cijeli život se svodi na trening, tako da 0.24 sam u treningu i kad ne treniram, tako da sve mi se svodi prema uspjehu.
My whole life is dedicated to this game, so every second of the day is dedicated to be better, to my success.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And this offseason was a special one though, with Bellator getting absorbed by the PFL, and now we have all these fun fighters in the roster addition here. So what was your reaction? That is exciting for you to see all these new guys come over.
Pa eto, sretan sam što je jaka konkurencija, što su se spojili Bellator i PFL. Mislim da je došlo to u pravo vrijeme za mene, jer sam u nekom svojem prime-u i sigurno mogu dati najbolji svoj performans i mislim da je ovo pravo vrijeme za mene.
Of course, I'm very glad that the competition is much tougher this year, and this came just at the right time for me in my career because I'm in my prime. So.
And I gotta wonder, man, like, is this one of the crazier fights you've had? You look at the main event, and it's Mirko Cro Cop protege versus Fedor Emelianenko protege. Both you guys have kind of this tie-in here. Is that a crazy thing to be a part of?
A eto, zanimljiva priča. Ja trenam kod Mirka, on trena kod Fedora i zanimljiva priča. Veselim se i tome što ću ga moći prebiti pred Fedorom.
Of course, it's interesting because I'm a Mirko's protege. He's a Fedor's protege, so it's interesting for sure. And I'm looking forward to have an opportunity to beat him in front of Fedor.
Yeah, that'll make it all the more special, man. And just as for Moldavsky, like, is he a guy that you've watched while he was in Bellator? And, do you think he's going to put up a good test against you? And I guess just how you kind of compare his style to yours.
Pa nisam ga previše pratio, nije nešto atraktivan borac, da nije Fedorov tima, vjerovatno ne bi ni znao za njega. Pobjedio je neka dobra imena kao starija imena, tako da svakako ga respektiram, ali ništa nisam vidio što bi me impresioniralo.
I didn't follow his career, to be honest. I know that he's trained under the Fedor and he won against some big names, but of course I respect him, but I think and I'm not impressed, to be honest.
All right, man. And aside from yourself, Ante, like, is there somebody this season that you think would be the most dangerous guy, whether it maybe is Moldavsky or one of the other guys in the tournament?
Pa s obzirom da sam sa nekim ljudima sam se borio, sa Stevom i sa Lintonom sam trenirao. Ne znam, mislim da su svi tu negdje, da svak može jednostavno svoj turnir. Stvarno je podjednaka je konkurencija i ko će biti prvak, to teško reći.
I fought with a lot of guys already from the roster, and I trained with Steve and Linton, so it's all there, so anybody can win this thing.
Would it be tough at all for you to fight Steve or Linton because of that relationship, or is it just like, we'll put friendship aside? I mean, I'm sure it makes it tougher, but would that be a weird thing for you?
Mislim, to je posao. Ako budemo se trebali borit ćemo se, pružit ćemo ruku iza i to je to. Moramo biti profesionalci. Tako da neće mi to neki problem biti. Ne bih volio da se borim sad na početku s njima, ali ako dođe u finalu ili polufinalu, morat ćemo se boriti. Tako da, to je to.
This is business. I wouldn't like to fight him straight on the start of the tournament, but if we need to fight in a half finals or finals, of course we're professional. We're going to shake hands and we're going to do what we do.
Yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. And speaking of business, there's also the big fight expected to happen at the end of the year, right? Francis Ngannou making his debut against Ferreira, a man you're familiar with. Do you think that fight's going to happen? And do you think he's got a chance of beating Ngannou? Like, having your familiarity, just what do you make of kind of that whole situation?
Pa mislim, apsolutno Ferreira ima šanse, protiv bilo koga šanse. Velik je, eksplozivan je, ima knockout power. Nema razloga uopće zašto ne bi mogao pobijediti Ngannou. Tako da pače.
I think that Renan Ferreira can beat anybody in the world, not just Ngannou. He's big, explosive. He's got the knockout power. So I don't think why he can't beat Ngannou.
Well said, man. Well, on that note, Ante, I'll leave you to it, man, to prepare for the fight. Can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. Wish you the best of luck with this weekend and then going forward, man. It's going to be fun. Thank you for the time.
Sličan dan, Hardija.